The credit card receipt crumpled in my hand as I watched my wife laugh at another joke about my handyman skills that couldn't fix our marriage. 23 years of marriage, and here I was at the Salt and Barrel, listening to Ria's friends tear me apart while she smiled like it was dinner theater. "Mick, you're so quiet tonight," Gina chirped, swirling her wine. "Cat got your tongue, or are you just thinking about all those broken pipes at home?" The table erupted. Derek, the pretty boy gym owner sitting too close to my wife, slapped his knee. Maybe he's calculating how much duct tape he needs for his next project. Ria's laugh cut through me like broken glass. "Oh, you guys are terrible." But she wasn't stopping them. I'd been fixing cars for 20 years, built my auto shop from nothing, served 2 tours in Iraq. These people wouldn't last 5 minutes in my world, but here they were, treating me like the hired help. "You know what, Mick?" Ria leaned forward, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "If you don't like my friend's jokes, you can just pay for your meal and leave." The silence that followed felt like a held breath. Derek's smirk widened. Gina covered her mouth in mock shock. The whole restaurant seemed to pause. I stood up slowly, pulled out my wallet, and counted exact bills for my steak dinner. Not hers, not theirs, just mine. "Enjoy your dessert," I said, walking away from 23 years of marriage. Behind me, nervous laughter tried to fill the void, but it sounded hollow. As I reached my truck, I glanced back through the window. Derek's hand was sliding across Ria's thigh, and she wasn't moving it away. That's when I knew dinner was just the appetizer. The next morning, Ria stumbled in at 6 a.m., mascara smeared, claiming she'd crashed at Gina's after a few too many wines. Her purse hit the kitchen counter with a thud, phone sliding out like evidence waiting to be discovered. She'd always been careless with her passwords. Our anniversary date, how romantic. The text thread with Derek made my coffee taste like acid. Derek: "Last night was incredible. When can we do it again?" Ria: "Soon. He's so clueless. Just give me time to figure this out." Derek: "Your husband looked pathetic at dinner. How did you stand it for so long?" Ria: "Money. The shop does better than he admits. But I'm done playing house." 23 years reduced to a text conversation with a gym rat who probably couldn't change a tire. I screenshotted everything, then put her phone back exactly where she'd dropped it. In my shop, I'd learned that the best repairs start with understanding what's really broken. Big Pete, my shop foreman, found me staring at my phone an hour later. "Boss, you look like someone stole your favorite wrench." "Something like that, Pete." "Tell me, what do you know about tracking GPS on cars?" Pete's weathered face cracked into a grin. "Depends. We talking about finding stolen property or catching thieves?" "Both, actually." Ria's BMW had a GPS system she'd never bothered to secure. Amazing how technology makes cheating easier, but also leaves such a clear trail. 3 afternoons that week, her car sat in the parking lot of Derek's gym for exactly 2 hours. Not enough time for a workout, but plenty for other activities. On Thursday, I followed her there myself. Through the gym's glass walls, I watched Derek spot her on the bench press, his hands lingering longer than necessary. When she sat up, he kissed her, right there in public, not caring who saw. "You getting a membership, boss?" Pete had insisted on coming along. "Just window shopping," I replied, photographing their little display with my phone's zoom lens. That evening, Ria came home humming, actually humming, like she was starring in her own romantic movie. "Good day at the office?" I asked. "Oh, you know, showings, paperwork, boring real estate stuff." She didn't even blink. "Must be exhausting. All that exercise." She paused, studying my face. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing, honey. Just noticed you've been more energetic lately, like you found a new workout routine." Her laugh sounded forced. "You're being weird, Mick." "Am I?" "My mistake." That night she showered for 45 minutes. Guilt has its own hygiene requirements, apparently. Mrs. Costello caught me checking the mail Friday morning. At 78, our neighbor had elevated gossip to an art form. "Morning, Mick. Saw Rhea out late again yesterday." "Really?" Fancy red convertible picked her up around noon." "Not your truck." I'd underestimated the neighborhood watch network. "You don't miss much, do you, Mrs. C?" "Honey, at my age, other people's drama is better than cable TV. That boy driving? Looked like he spends more on hair products than I do on groceries." "You wouldn't happen to have noticed the license plate?" She pulled a small notebook from her housecoat pocket. "Massachusetts plate, FITGUY1. Subtle as a heart attack. Derek's vanity would be his downfall. That weekend, I paid a visit to his upscale condo complex. His BMW sat in spot 247, gleaming like his ego. I'd brought tools, not for vandalism, but for education. Removing his valve stems took 30 seconds per tire. Not slashing, not permanent damage, just enough inconvenience to make a point. Then I tucked a note under his windshield wiper. "Park your wife somewhere else." The shrimp came from Pete's cousin who worked at the seafood processing plant. Amazing how much raw shrimp you can stuff into a car's ventilation system if you're motivated and have the right tools. Monday morning brought a furious phone call to the shop. "This is Derek Ellison. I know what you did to my car." "I'm sorry, who?" "I run an auto shop, not a psychic hotline." "Don't play dumb. Fix this or else." "Or else what? You'll cancel your gym membership? Threaten me with a protein shake?" The line went dead. Round one to the mechanic. Derek showed up at my shop that afternoon, all puffed chest and designer workout gear. He'd clearly never been in a real garage, kept looking around like he might catch something. "We need to talk," he announced. "About what? Car trouble? I hear BMWs can be finicky." "You know damn well what this is about." I picked up a heavy torque wrench, testing its weight. "Actually, I don't. Why don't you explain it to me?" His bravado deflated slightly. Gym muscles look impressive in mirrors, less so when facing someone who swings real tools for a living. "Stay away from Rhea." "Interesting advice. She's my wife." "Not for long. That's her choice to make. But Derek?" I stepped closer. "If you ever threaten me again, you'll discover that I'm really good at taking things apart. Cars, engines, other things." He backed toward the door but tried to save face. "This isn't over." "No," I agreed. "It's not." After he left, Pete emerged from the back office chuckling. "Boss, that boy looked like he was about to wet himself." Funny thing about bullies, Pete. They're only tough when they think they're winning. The next morning, Derek's gym buddies found his car in the parking lot, windows down, reeking of rotting seafood. The smell had baked in the summer heat for 3 days. Even professional detailing couldn't save it. Within a week, whispers started circulating about Derek's hygiene problems. Funny how quickly a reputation can turn. The town's summer bash arrived like a gift from the revenge gods. Every year, the whole community gathered in the square for food trucks, live music, and enough gossip to fuel the winter months. Rhea spent an hour getting ready, choosing an outfit that screamed, "available." She claimed she was going with Gina, but I knew better. I arrived with Pete, who'd brought his wife and kids. We looked like what we were, working families enjoying a community event, normal people living normal lives. Derek showed up in a rental car, having finally admitted defeat on the BMW. He'd clearly told Rhea to meet him there, because she appeared 20 minutes later, scanning the crowd until she spotted him. They tried to be discreet, but discretion isn't Derek's strong suit. Within an hour, they were sharing funnel cake and acting like teenagers. "Boss," Pete nudged me. "You seeing this?" Hard to miss. That's when I put my plan into motion. Pete's teenage daughter was a wizard with technology, and she'd helped me prepare a little surprise. The video I'd captured at the gym, edited into a 30-second clip, was ready for distribution. Modern phones make sharing so easy. AirDrop to nearby devices, especially when you know people's phone names from social media. Amazing how many people use their real names for their devices. Within minutes, phones around the square were buzzing. The video spread like wildfire through the crowd. Rhea and Derek kissing passionately in the gym, her wedding ring clearly visible. I watched from across the square as people started staring, whispering, pointing. Gina's face went white when she saw her phone. Other friends clustered around, their expressions shifting from shock to judgment. Derek noticed first. His face flushed red as he realized people were looking at them differently. Rhea remained oblivious until Mrs. Patterson from the bank approached her. "Rhea, dear, I think you should see this." The sound Rhea made when she saw the video wasn't quite a scream, more like air being let out of a tire. Her eyes swept the crowd, landing on me. She marched over, fury radiating from every step. "You bastard! How could you do this to me?" "Do what? I'm just enjoying the festival." "You know what you did. This is humiliation." "Funny," I replied calmly. "That's exactly how I felt at dinner last week. Remember, when you told me to pay and leave?" She raised her hand to slap me, but I caught her wrist easily. "You said pay and leave, Rhea." I left. "Now you're the one who's paying." The crowd around us had grown. Small towns love drama, especially when it involves people who think they're above everyone else. Derek appeared at her shoulder, looking like he wanted to be anywhere else. "We should go," he whispered. "Yes," I agreed. "You should." As they retreated toward the parking area, I heard Mrs. Costello's voice behind me. About time someone took that girl down a peg. The evening was just getting started. Derek's desperation peaked the following Tuesday night. I was working late at the shop when I heard glass breaking. Through the office window, I saw him trying to jimmy the lock on my tool cabinet. Amateur hour. I slipped out the back door and circled around, catching him red-handed with a crowbar. "Find what you're looking for!" He spun around, crowbar raised. "Stay back!" "Or what? You'll fix my transmission?" In his panic, he swung wildly. I sidestepped easily. 20 years of dodging hydraulic lifts and swinging engines teaches you reflexes. I grabbed his wrist, twisted, and the crowbar clattered to the floor. "Here's how this works, Derek. You're going to leave. Now. And you're never coming back." "You can't." "I can't what? Defend my property? Call the police? Have you arrested for breaking and entering?" The fight went out of him like air from a punctured tire. "This is all your fault," he whined. "If you'd just let her go." "Let her go? Derek, she's not my prisoner. She made her choice. You both did. Now you get to live with the consequences." I walked him to the door, keeping a firm grip on his arm. "The funny thing is," I continued, "I never had to destroy you. You did it yourself. The car, the gym, your reputation, that's all on you. I just gave you enough rope." After he left, I called Detective Wells, an old friend from high school who'd made good with the police department. "Tom? It's Mick Donnelly. I need to report an attempted break-in." The report would go on Derek's record. One more nail in his coffin. The final piece of my revenge had been months in the making. Rhea's real estate business depended on her reputation and connections. Funny how quickly both can evaporate. Mrs. Costello's son turned out to be quite the entrepreneur. He'd been buying distressed properties around town, fixing them up, and flipping them. When I approached him with a business proposition, he was very interested. See, Rhea had been bragging about her upcoming listings, big commissions on prime properties. What she didn't know was that I'd been quietly gathering information on her clients, their financial situations, their motivations. A cash offer, even slightly below asking price, beats a financed offer every time. Especially when the cash comes with no inspection contingencies and a quick closing. By the time Rhea realized what was happening, I'd helped purchase 3 of her biggest listings out from under her. Legal, ethical, and absolutely devastating to her income. The 4th property was the crown jewel, the old Morrison place on the waterfront. Rhea had been courting that listing for 2 years. When Mrs. Morrison finally decided to sell, Rhea was certain she had it locked up. She didn't count on Mrs. Morrison's grandson needing quick cash for his mother's medical bills. A fast, clean offer with no complications was exactly what the family needed. Rhea found out at the closing when she showed up expecting to collect her commission and found me sitting at the table instead. "What are you doing here?" she demanded. "Buying a house," I replied simply. Thought it was time to upgrade. The color drained from her face as the reality hit her. 3 months of work gone. The commission that was supposed to fund her new life with Derek evaporated. "You can't do this." "Actually, I can. It's called capitalism, honey. I learned it from you." The confrontation I'd been expecting came that Friday night. Rhea burst through our front door like a hurricane, Derek trailing behind her like debris. "You've ruined everything!" she screamed. "My business, my reputation, my life!" "Your life?" I stood up from my recliner, setting down my beer. "Rhea, you ruined your own life. I just stopped enabling it. Those were my clients." "My deals." "Were they? Because last I checked, you hadn't signed anything. Business is competitive. Maybe you should have closed faster." Derek stepped forward, trying to look intimidating. "Give her back those properties." I laughed. "Or what? You'll break into my shop again? Threaten me with exercise equipment?" "We can make your life hell," Rhea snarled. "You already tried that. Remember dinner? How'd that work out for you?" The truth was settling over them like a heavy blanket. Their affair was public knowledge. Derek's business was failing. Turns out, a gym owner with a reputation for poor hygiene doesn't attract many members. Rhea's real estate career was in ruins. Her social circle had abandoned her, and her meal ticket was standing in front of her, completely unmoved by her tears. "I want half of everything," she declared. "The house, the business, all of it." "Talk to my lawyer," I replied. "But here's the thing about divorce, Rhea. Adultery still matters in Massachusetts, especially when there's video evidence." Her face went white. "You wouldn't." "Try me." Derek grabbed her arm. "Come on, let's go. He's not worth it." "You're right," I agreed. "She's not worth it either." Took me 23 years to figure that out. As they headed for the door, I called out one last time. "Oh, and Derek? Next time you want to steal someone's wife, make sure she's worth stealing." The door slammed behind them, rattling the windows. I walked to the kitchen, opened another beer, and looked out at the backyard I'd been meaning to landscape for 15 years. Maybe it was time to start that project. Mrs. Costello appeared at her window, giving me a thumbs up. Even at 78, she appreciated a well-executed plan. 6 months later, the divorce was final. Rhea got her car and her clothes. I got everything else, including the satisfaction of watching her move into a studio apartment across town. Derek's gym closed 3 months after that. Last I heard, he was selling insurance in Springfield. As for me, I'm renovating the Morrison place on weekends. It's got a great view of the harbor and enough space for the workshop I've always wanted. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even. It's getting everything